Hello and welcome back. Well, it's Saturday morning, a little bit after 9. It's a sales video. I have 10 items for $220 something to go out. I don't know. I guess get whatever media I have up and listed, and books and disc media. Just kind of do a little hodgepodge of listings, and might go out up here to I don't know. I'm not even going to really start speculating on what I'll do today. It's looks like at least 75% humidity with 79 degrees at 9 o'clock. So it's just gonna get a little warmer. It's be mid 80s today, and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I believe Thursday. It's all going to be close to and over 90s with pretty good humidity. Now, where I live, the way the bird flies, the nearest point to Lake Erie is probably 2 miles. But I'm also right in the little cut area where it starts to go up. The lake starts to go up, so kind of getting more of the moisture instead of the harsh breeze. Now, there's still breeze here, but not as much as there would be going to like Geneva, Ashtabula, where I was yesterday, which I was going to get out and walk toward the harbor and just walk down toward the lagoon and get a video of that. Each time I go up there and I want to get a video of just that part instead of just standing pointing at the boats, it was either bad weather, snowy. I mean, not snow now, but snowy or bad, or I just didn't want to, or raining. One of these days, I'll get like a couple minute video or minute video of me just kind of walking around the lagoon, and then maybe another one stop and park somewhere. Like yesterday, I drove down whatever the main road is in like the area is called Saybrook. It passes right on the very edge. I mean, the road, guardrail, break wall, and it's Lake Erie right there. So it's nice to look at as kind of just driving by, looking at the glances. But that section of the road is like 40 miles an hour for reasons, right? All right, fun story about that. Let's go and find out what's sold. A pair of Tahari sunglasses. Now, Tahari is a brand that I have looked up enough times to know that when I see it on the temple, the arm, to look it up and look at least the model number, what have you. So this is one of those for wasn't much, $25. Cartoon classics. I believe it's just music from cartoons or sound excerpts. Multi-disc CD set, 25. Banished Behind Bars. This is one I recently got within a week. Well, maybe a little longer than a week, but it's been listed for maybe a week. I think I resurfaced this one. I don't exactly remember, but still $30. Animal Kingdom. This is in the box 10 in the back of it. So this is one that's most likely been around for a handful of months, but 13. A Chuga Chuga. Dire Straits, self-title, non-barcode, non-BMG. I'm not seeing any like BMG or anything like that numbers on it. 18. Carnivores PC game, 15. Another one of the Three Investigators books, hardcover 1. The Mystery of the Screaming Clock, 29. this Kirsten Flagstaff CD. $20. So, remembering a little story about the day that I got this. So, this I got the same day when I got two Jan and Dean, which are going to be like 60s and 70s singers, DVDs. Each of them were signed. And so the day when I go to list them, I put them up for, I think it's 19876, right? I didn't figure after they go on sale, it'll be about 140 bucks. So I did my postings, got up, went down to the store real quick, right around the corner. By the time I come back, I don't even take my phone. By the time I come back, they're sold for 200 bucks. That was real nice. But a more interesting part of that story is I ran into which I wasn't on YouTube. I wasn't making videos then. Someone by the name of Amy, and I'm likely going to butcher her channel name, but it's Boho Soho. Soho, Boho, Boso, whichever. And she does more collectibles, larger knickknacks, bric-a-brac, stuff like that. I'll put a link down in her channel, and in a very, very strange way, we are like 6 degrees of separation. So these stories are, well, she lives in Talmadge, which where she lives is like a road or a couple blocks from where my sister lives. She used to live up here in Menor, right on the other end of not Hart Street, Maple. Um, and there's something else, like somewhere to where she's like, oh yeah, I know where that is, or I've done something to where in relation to my brother. It's like, that's getting too weird. Um, and she goes to the local thrift stores and she kind of talks about, she does the in-store video, which is one of those things I really don't think I'm really going to get too much into. But if that kind of stuff interests you, I mean, minimum you could do is follow the link and go see what her videos are about. She gets a little more involved in stuff than I do in regards to like the format, production and stuff. But anyhow, there was that story, and then I ran into her again somewhere in before that time when I found this, and Dan and Jean was at a thrift store in Streetsboro, and then I ran into her again. I forget which store I was at when I ran into her again, but I've run into her a couple times, and it's just one of those. I'm at a thrift store. She comes walking in because at the Goodwill in Streetsboro, it's right beside the door where they have like a little a bench, like what you see in shoe stores where you sit down and change your shoes. They have a bench right there. The carts are right beside it, nearest to the door, and then it's the media rack, disc media rack, and vinyl, which I don't do vinyl, but that's just what's right there. And I look over and I see someone come in. I'm just like, that face looks familiar, and in that short time frame from the time they got the cart. So by that time, in about 30 seconds, I stopped her. I said, do you run a YouTube channel? And then that's where she's like, yeah. I was like, oh, I've watched a couple. Either way. So side story. There's that. Chant of Jimmy Blacksmith. Looks like an import by just looking at this right here. DVD. 21. Sold 4 of those little butter pats for 20, and now I have one more set. And I said in a couple other sales videos, what sold videos, that, I've said it multiple times. I probably had 40, maybe, I don't think 50, but I probably had 40 sets of 4 of those. And it's taken years to get rid of them, but I bought a box of it. Not only had that, it had some I forget the name of the Italian espresso company. Had like a handful of little espresso cups, like more than a handful, maybe 20 different brands of espresso cups, restaurant ones. One of the brands is called Hall. There were some Fire King pieces in there, a couple Better Made salt and pepper shit. And it was a massive box. I think I paid 20. It's been a while. And I think I have one more set of espresso cups that are still listed and one more set of those pads. And when those pads sell, and they've been selling, obviously, those will be done. The espresso cups, those have been listed for years and nothing's going anywhere. So after this next big sale, which I do big sales twice a year, the 4th of July weekend, so end of June, which would put the total time frame for the year at 6 months, June 2nd, 3rd, July. I'm sorry, July 2nd, 3rd, 5th, somewhere around there is the 180-day mark of the year. So I'll do a big sale where sometimes I will bump the sale brackets up by 5, which would then be totally 10% more off than what everything was listed. So it's not a whole lot. The number that shows, the price that shows, is a big difference than what it was before, but it's still like only 10% off. I'll still send out 5% offers, but most of the time I'll turn best offers off because it's already cheap enough. Or if I do a best offer, it'll be like at 10%. And then I will do one after Christmas, going into the turn of the year to maybe like the 4th, 5th, 6th, depending on what it is. So each of those sales run for like 10 days. And that's when I will do, after those sales are done and the price has already been dropped quite a bit and the sale is done and everything is back on the regular brackets, that's when I'll go in and I'll see, oh, I have everything in my business policy that's under media. I will bring all that up and I will go with, I will see what's been listed for the longest by time frame, by choosing the column for time frame to see what's been listed, the longest amount of time. And in that media, I will change it to where the page shows 200 and I will click on every single one of the view counters. Because I'm only doing this twice a year, I will take that extra hour and change. I will click on every single item, the view counter, and if it matches up to be about half. And there's other minor criteria. Am I going to be worried about, oh, well, this item has 6 views over 9 months and it's a $14 item? Am I worried about really taking it down or repricing it? Not if it's like a 2-pound book. If it's something like that, right? However, so then the ones that have enough views over half. So if it's been listed for 12 months, it has to have at least 5 is like bare minimum, but it has to have like 6, 7 views. If anything's listed for more than 12 months, I'm looking at double digits and the value of the item. And then I kind of determine is like, these are the ones I'm going to take down right now. And then I'll take that all the way to the 6-month mark. So it'll be 5 months, 28 days, whichever. Somewhere right in that time frame, if I have another smaller chunk of another 30 that are going to be in the next day, I'll take those down too, right? But it could be a total of 2 pages of 200 until I get to that 6-month mark. And I'll do that for every single one of them. And if it has enough views for me to take down and reprice at that point in time, I will do that with all those. And I'll take the time and I will copy paste the title, whatever it may be, just the name of a movie. It may just be an artist and a CD or a book. And I will go to Terapeak and I will set the time frame in Terapeak to 6 months. If it's a little more expensive, maybe a year. and I'll start looking at the results. If it has sold in 6 months, it's going to get repriced at a price that's pretty close to that in comparison to what they're currently listed for. Right. So I kind of make that decision on that, and then it gets repriced. And I'll do that with 30, 40, 50, 70 items, whichever it is. And then with everything else that has 1, 2, 3, 4, those ones that did not get taken down will then be put, will be mass taken down. And then in my unsold page, it's price highest first. And then I will start looking at the items with more scrutiny and say, okay, this item got 2 views. I got it for a reason 8 months ago, whichever. Got it for a reason. It probably has a selling point. Let me go ahead and go back to Terapeak and really look and see on why it only got 2 views, why I got. So I will spend a good that entire day, well, not the entire day, a good 6-8 hours really scrutinizing all those listings, and it could be 200 to 400. I'm only doing this twice a year. And then what's left over, what never got relisted or never got put up as a sell similar, is dead inventory. And then that stuff gets called. And then I'll go through my boxes and all that. And another aspect of that, where that entire story is going to, is after all that stuff is done, and if I have at least like 3,000 listings, because that's been my gear for the past couple of years to maintain and be over 3,000 listings, the stuff that is not media, so like eyeglass frames and sunglasses, that's stuff that will just stay up, and I will do the same kind of calling for that. I have a small box over here of just like junk frames and other things, because I'll buy them in a bag. I haven't bought frames in a bag in a while, but I'll buy them in a bag, and there'll be a bunch of just junk ones. But other things like the arts and crafts stuff, I'll sell a sewing pattern once every couple of weeks anymore. And so I have some of that arts and crafts stuff, which there's some stuff that's kind of bulky because I whatever they are, it's not the patterns, but other just arts and crafts things are kind of bulky and taking up a chunk of space. And I want to do something with the space that's over here to where, I can accommodate that and kind of help clean up a little. So I will get arts and crafts and sewing patterns and stuff. I can put that stuff in an auction and I'll get $50, $100, 200, whichever. Sewing patterns, that stuff will get bids. That's one. And all the way to the point are like these glass things, these remaining little cappuccino cups and espresso cups and these little things like that are not within the realm of stuff that I'm focusing on, that I've had for years, that'll just come down. So that is a winded, however succinct version and explanation of what I do for calling when it comes down to getting rid of stale and dead inventory. So since I want to focus on physical media, and that's what I am at, because anywhere I go, there's something, and it's cheap, inexpensive. It's easy to work with, sells fast, like your mom. So gearing toward physical media, I still have like a section of 6 drawers that has the other non-media stuff in it and non-eyeglass frames in it. Those 6 drawers are just going to be comprised of the other loose stuff, to where I want to start getting that stuff more gone. If it still has it still has an interest. So that's, I'm getting way too crazy into that one. That will be a video, more of an explanation video when I do the sale, the brackets and all that, which will be like a screen capture, and I'll talk more on that one when I do that. And then when I'm doing the calling on how I'm doing, I'll do another video on that one, so that way, as my viewers can kind of pick up on, that's one of the things that I do. I'm not And I don't see myself being one of those, here's 13 things you have to do to make sure you can sell stuff on eBay. Here's 10 tips and tricks. I'm not one of those. I'm not going to make an entire video dedicated on 13 things that most likely you're not writing down, and you probably already know 5 or 6 of them, and the other ones are so could be minuscule, non-applicable, whichever the reasons. To me, the stronger, more promulgating point is that you could pick up more information on how you could get less information more frequently and combine, conflate what you already know and what you're picking up on if it's spread out over time. If education was meant to put everything in one video or 2 or a handful of videos, it wouldn't take 12 years for primary school. It wouldn't take 4 years for an undergrad. If you can learn everything you need to know, 13, 18, 25 hints, tips, tricks, whichever, for the things that you need to do, there wouldn't be a need to spread all that out over 12 years. So that's why in the videos that I make, and I'm kind of sounding arrogant, maybe pompous, there's some condescension in there for sure. If you listen to some, all, part, portions, whichever, the entire video, all of my videos, just a couple, each one is going to have a little segment in it, something that you could pick up on. And so that kind of reminds me of the little desktop calendars that would be word of the day. This is just an example, would be word of the day or an element of the day, periodic element of the day. And one of those would be element of the week, whichever. And, it'd be a 2-year, 3-year calendar, whatever it may be, right? So it would just be, you flip it up, and one day it's hydrogen. And then the next day it gives you more information about hydrogen. And the next day, that way you're not getting all the information all at once. It makes it easier to remember. That's why a lot of informative videos. Now there are some in-depth videos depending what genre you're looking at and watching, what you're interested in. There are some videos that can easily be an hour, but I prefer if it's something that's going to be more learny, educational. I just call it learny TV. If it's something that's educational, most of the time it's going to be those 8 to 15 minute snippets, videos that are just going over a small point, and in the video they will give, like most people in academia will give, like a generic history and some definitions to start off with, then they'll go into their story. So anyhow, enough about that. Like what you heard, like what you saw, like what you learned. If anything, he lets me know at least something about the video. Comments lets me read something that you found fitting to comment on about the video. Subscribe, share, those are all free. Take a second. Helps me, help you, and we all help other people. And the world goes round and round. Appreciate it.